Here we go. The Baltimore Ravens. They defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers 34-17. Welcome in to Kevin and Zach React. I am Kevin Allstriker, and we are breaking down a Ravens victory. Of course, we are your post-game or just reaction in general sports destination here in Baltimore, at least one of the many. And we are here to talk about a great game for the Ravens. It got a little dicey at times, got a little crazy. But, man, in that fourth quarter, as I said over on Locked On Ravens, if you didn't know, I host Locked On Ravens. I know Zach doesn't know. I'll have to break the news to him. But I talked about how the Steelers just got their souls snatched. And Zach has given me a thumbs up behind the stage. All right, give me another thumbs up if you want me to bring you on. Okay, he has a show for us. I don't know what he's going to do. I'm a little worried. We're going to bring him on. BTA.
Belt.
Okay, you're muted. You're
ass, Kevin.
Oh, wait. No, you're not. I'm muted.
Am I muted?
No, I'm muted. It was me. You're good.
Oh, thank God. First off, if my camera – how does the camera look?
You look fine. You look
fine.
Up,
just going to say it. Left my computer in the studio because I kind of went to the lots to, catch the vibe. And then Ubered right back home after there, forgetting, hey, computer's in the studio for post-game. But Kevin, belt to ass, baby. Belt to ass. It felt like just overall a needed win in every single sense of the word, because it was not absent of the Steelers' black magic. It was happening in front of your eyes. But what was the difference? The ball bounced the Ravens' way this time. The fumbles. Oh, my goodness, the fumbles. This feels like every other Ravens-Steelers game, but the Steelers get all those fumbles. But when Lamar throws that interception, Marlowe doesn't take it right back. It felt like a classic, what we've seen. The Ravens just couldn't. I put the tweet out after Derrick Henry up the sideline, looked like, oh, put the dagger on him, next play, interception. I put the tweet. I was like, I feel like we can't put these guys away, but they found a way. They found a way, Kevin.
It's the most important part. And I think for a lot of games, Zach, you want to have it be like, oh, go out there, make it an impressive win, right? Steelers, they're missing a lot of guys. But I think everybody in Baltimore is just kind of like, I don't care how it happens, just win the game. It can be ugly. It can be sloppy, whatever, 1 point, 30 points, just win the game. And that's what Baltimore did. Offensively, defensively, special teams wise. Sure, was it perfect? Absolutely not. There were mistakes, and you mentioned the fumbles and all that, right? I mean, it's very rare for a team to have that good of fumble luck. And you take it. Like, hey, I'm taking 10 times out of 10, you're taking that. But really, there were 5 fumbles in the game. The Ravens got 4 of them. So it's honestly different from the last time these two teams played, when it seems like Pittsburgh was getting all the turnover luck. And I know they addressed that on the broadcast as well. But now you're in a situation where you eliminate the head-to-head tiebreaker the Steelers had over you if you're Baltimore. You can now take care of business against Houston and Cleveland, which I think Baltimore will do that. And in my opinion, you have a pretty good shot to win the North, because I do expect Pittsburgh to lose one of their final 2 games at least. So gives you an opportunity to have a home playoff game in Baltimore. Maybe even if things shake out, Pittsburgh comes back to Baltimore in just a couple of weeks, if that's how it goes. So they needed this one badly, because I know we talked about this, and I talked about this, and everybody was talking about it. You could not let your most hated division rival celebrate your division crown on your home field. And the Ravens made sure. They talked a lot this week about how they did not like how the rivalry has gone, and they were ready to change the narrative. And I gave them credit on social media. I gave them credit on the postgame on Locked On Ravens. They backed up their talk, and you got to shout them out for that.
Yeah, I actually was just going to bring up your tweet. It did feel like this whole week, the Ravens, what did they do? They told everyone who listened, hey, we're ready. this is throw the record books out, whatever. We're ready for a fight. We're ready to go play Ravens football. I mean, it felt like pretty much from the start. The first drive looked promising. Then you had the strip sack that we recovered, but really just put you behind everything. And it felt like kind of after that, the offense, man, I put it out on Twitter, hand it to Derrick Henry, just keep feeding him. And the second you sit there and think to yourself, are we feeding him too much? Turn around and hand it to him again. Turn around and hand it to him again.
That's what was working, right? That's what was working, literally. I mean, you have an opportunity to establish the run game early. And what happened? Because last time they didn't do that, right? Last time they didn't do it. Where Derrick Henry fumbles early, they moved away from the ground game. Then when they tried to reestablish it, it was essentially too late, and the game flow was all weird. Derrick Henry goes, and it literally is just Derrick Henry run, Derrick Henry run, Derrick Henry run. And what happened is the Steelers had to start selling out for it. And so that is why we talk all the time here. And when we talk about football and the Ravens, if you can establish a ground game that the opposing defense can't stop, they have to start cheating to try to stop it. And when they cheat in too much, you can run a play action play. And that's when we saw on that fake toss to Derrick Henry, Lamar throws it to Isaiah Likely. They knew what they were doing. They knew the Steelers were really worried about the run game and stopping Derrick Henry. And they said, the Chris Berman, whoop, they pulled it back and said, here you go, Isaiah Likely. And he literally did your BTA celebration in the end zone. It was 7-0, and he did it in the end zone. He's like, Isaiah Likely knew what was coming.
Yeah, and it honestly, it felt like that from the get-go, too. This was a game that I talked about beforehand, and I told a few people in the lots. I was like, I don't know what it is, but I didn't expect a blowout. I didn't expect a blowout by any means, but I was like, I really feel like this could be a comfortable game for the Ravens. And I didn't mean in the sense of, they're going to feel in control the whole time, but it wasn't going to come down to the last second. It wasn't going to come down to this massive stop. And it felt like kind of going into the second half. I hate prevent defense. I want that on record. Just absolutely despise prevent defense. Just letting them go get a field goal attempt was crazy. But really after that, I mean, they go down and get the one touchdown in the second half, but this defense is playing out of their mind. Kyle Van Noy over 10 sacks now, double digits. Ojabo had a good game. I mean, the secondary, incredible. Ardarius Washington kind of gives up that touchdown on their first touchdown, comes back the next drive, pokes it out at the 2-yard line, 3-yard line. Massive game-changing play there. Marlon Humphrey, we've talked about it all year. It felt like this team's not getting a ton of turnovers, but the thing that this defense has separated itself for and has helped them win games is they're getting the turnover. You look back to the game against the Bengals, this game, the game against the Bills, with the trick play strip sack of KVN. When you face these top teams, you need to get the turnover. It doesn't all of a sudden mean that every single game you have to get 4 or 5 turnovers for you to have a chance. It's when the moment's the biggest. When momentum's on the line, if the Steelers, Minka picks that off, if they go down and score, this game looks a lot different. 2 plays later, Marlon Humphrey goes and takes it. That wasn't, I understand it's not the best decision, not the best throw. Russ is going to take that back 10 times out of 10. But it's not like he threw it right to Marlon. Marlon went and made a play. So you have to give credit where credit's due. Marlon Humphrey, all-pro, put him in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. I saw a few comments up that you bashed the Joe saying Kevin bashes the snap.
No, okay, all right.
I'll say it. Nick, what are we doing on that? Jordan Stout with the reach? I mean, Tucker.
So let's pull it up. Joe, you know you're the man. Appreciate you. I wasn't trying to focus on the snap. I was trying to focus on Jordan Stout. I didn't say it was a bad snap. I said it was a little wide, which, look, we're all honest here on Locked On Ravens, and Kevin and Zach reacts and Twitter and so everywhere. We're honest. It was a little wide, but nobody's perfect. It's not like Nick snapped the thing and it went back 50 yards. It wasn't a bad, horrible snap. I never said that. So thank you very much. But I was more saying, man, Jordan Stout like reached out for that thing. He went out, and the fact that he was able to extend like that, bring it back,
Yeah.
and then have it be right there for Tucker, like that was really impressive because Stout had a rough punt early in the game. I mean, he's had a couple of
14
those
yards.
this season. There have been far too many of those, and I know Jordan Stout will probably be the first to tell you that. But he came back and redeemed himself because if that ball is fumbled and something weird happens, my saying now, Zach, is for this Ravens team, sometimes they start slow. Sometimes it's a little sloppy early. But if you give them that momentum play, it's going to be a bad day for the opponent. Because we saw the Cincinnati game, right, where Marlon forces the fumble and then everything turns for the Ravens. They're able to make the comeback. And obviously, I think that play in this game was the Ardarius Washington play like you were talking about, where if the Steelers go up 14-7, who knows how this game goes. But instead, the Ravens get the ball. They go down the field and they go up 14-7. And it kind of just changes the whole dynamic of the ball game. So, man, look, the Steelers quarterback situation was horrible last season, like worse in the league, terrible.
Yeah.
Russ has been a breath of fresh air for the Steelers in that regard, but man, does he make some dumb plays. Like
starting to no Kenny or no George Pickens is a massive deal for them. I think that makes them even more one-dimensional. So they can't, if they're not having George Pickens on the outside, that makes it really easy for defenses to key in on the run and be like, hey, if Calvin Austin beats us over the top, which he did the one time against Nate Wiggins, if they do that, you'll take it because you feel good about the rest of it. And that's what the Ravens did. Zach Orr, incredible again. Give the man his flowers. Just genuinely the turnaround that we've seen in the past 6 weeks. I think it was something like 6 since the last Steelers game. The Ravens are like the best defense on third down in football. It just feels like they're coming up with the plays when they need to. The communication seems to, knock on wood, communication seems to be better with Kyle Hamilton playing full-time safety. And then, of course, it just once the defense gets rolling, you keep the ball in Lamar Jackson's hands and Derrick Henry's hands and Zay Flowers' hands. 1,000 yards for Zay Flowers. Congratulations, Zay. That's absolutely – it feels good to have a 1,000-yard receiver drafted by the Ravens. That deep ball from Lamar to Zay was absolutely nasty. Just incredible.
Yeah. And I love the effort. Like, we talked about how badly it seemed like the Ravens wanted to win this game and how crazily not desperate, but I guess how crazily into it they were to try to win this game and set a new tone and win a momentum game. And you see like Zay fighting he could have just gone down. I mean, the game was pretty much in their hands at that point. Like he could have just gone down and say, oh, hey, cool. They said, no, we're taking it to you for the full 60 minutes here. And that's the mindset I love because you want to have momentum going into the postseason. Obviously, postseason is a whole different story. It's a whole season. You can split the NFL season up into 4 years. There's 4 seasons, right? That's what it is. Before the bye, after the bye, playoffs, and then Super Bowl if you get there. But having momentum going in, like I don't think the Ravens lose again personally, and that to me is a really big thing going into what I believe is a very wide open AFC and a wide open NFL Super Bowl race where I think that a team like the Chiefs could win, maybe the Bills could win, maybe the Lions can overcome the injuries, maybe the Eagles can do it. I think the Ravens have a shot. Like maybe a weird team like the Vikings or the Packers, or maybe the Steelers can pull more.
That entire NFC North, I feel like, could be blown out in the first playoff game or could run it the whole thing. It just – I can't get a read on any of those teams in the NFC North because you sit there one game and you're like, wow, that might be the team to beat besides Philly and the NFC. And then the next one, you're sitting there. Yeah, Kevin, can you switch us? Gunners are us talk about it. We're on different sides.
Oh, man. Okay. All right.
Everyone's
all right.
Throwing everyone off. Right. Throwing everyone off. Real fast, do want to say hope Justice Hill is okay. That was a scary sight, especially obviously off the field, off football, non-football related. You just hope he's okay. Head injuries, especially that, is a very scary thing, and it was good to see him walk off, feel better that way. So you hope the best for him. And then football-wise, you're not going to see him Wednesday. You're not going to see him Wednesday. You hope you can see him after this mini bye which will be a nice mini bye, a very nice that no one's really talking about. That's going to be, if you can come out healthy of Houston, it's a very nice mini bye going into the final game. Just overall, hope he's okay because he's been incredible. I mean, obviously it was the big run, but he's been incredible in the past game, past pro. Justice Hill's been such a team player. He's a guy that you want out there.
Yeah, and that is a tough loss. I mean, I think that we're going to see Keaton next week, and I think that'll be exciting.
I think we're definitely going to see him. As much as I love Rasheed, and I think Rasheed is as you said, multifaceted.
That's right.
Multifaceted. I think Rasheed Ali has incredible ability. I think he can be a playmaker for this team. I don't think it's, if Keaton Mitchell is playing like Keaton Mitchell and like we've seen him play, you go with Keaton Mitchell. I mean, that man's a firecracker. Kevin, kind of just because it just popped into my head, how are we feeling with Desmond King?
He said that he'll correct his mistakes on Twitter after the game.
So. That would be wild if
he's like, two fumbles for Desmond King. Let me just say, players have been punished for less under John Harbaugh. That is what I will say. I mean, I think he brings juice, but you got to hold on to the ball. And if that happens in the playoffs, again, sometimes your fumble luck isn't as good as you had if you're Baltimore here. I think, I feel a lot more confident in him picking up chunks of yards than I do with Tylan Wallace or anybody else on the roster. But it's kind of like a high risk, high reward, I guess, because, if you can't hold on to the ball and you turn the ball over, then I'd rather take Tylan Wallace.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, especially because of, like you said, if you want to talk about returnability, it feels like every time Desmond King is returning the ball, you feel like there's going to be something. He's going to usually make the first guy miss. He's going to get into open field. But ball security is job security. At the end of the day, ball security is job security. You have to be able to hold on to that ball, because let's even look at the first drive. He has that big return after the 3-and-out. He fumbles, Ravens get on it. But like you said, if those fumbles, the last one would have just extended the game a little bit, probably would have just added 5 more minutes on the game time. But the first one's the one that, is worrisome. It's one that, especially like catching the ball, once you've caught it, that should be the last risk. You should not be getting stripped. You should not be putting the ball on the ground once you had it. If it's an end over end punt, sometimes it's the NFL. It's going to take a weird bounce off your body, whatever. That's going to happen, but you can't get stripped. Once you have the ball, you got to hold on to it.
Yeah, and he actually made 3 mistakes because he let a ball roll when he shouldn't have. And it went down to the 9 or the 8 or inside the Ravens 10. So the Ravens have had issues at punt returner this year. Again, I think that King has that high risk, high reward ability where I feel like he's been very close to breaking a few of these for touchdowns. But we've seen some mistakes with Tylan this year there, seen some mistakes with Desmond King there. So, I mean, I would probably still roll with Desmond King. I mean, that's probably what I would do. If there was another fumble, then I think there's no more.
Maybe
I think
put Deontay Johnson back there.
Hey, I heard he's on waivers. Maybe the Ravens can claim him.
We should claim him. I think we could turn him around. Kieran, Kevin, because I'm a guest, I can't put it on the screen, but if you could put Kieran saying Ali can make returns, yes, he can.
Yeah, if you want to comment, pull it up courtesy of Zach. All you have to do is just mention Rasheed Ali's name, and it's coming. It's going. I can't believe I didn't want Joe's comment on the screen. He said, "Go Herd."
I didn't even see Joe say, "Go Herd." Go Herd, Joe. Go Herd. Rasheed Ali, I will say, in the return game, that's where I think he helps this Ravens team the most. Especially, I'm going to say kickoff return, punt return. I think they're going to stick with King or Tylan. Ali, he's had big breaks already this year in the return game. But really at Marshall, that was kind of when he led the nation with, I think it was 23 touchdowns the one year. I think he took 4 of them back for touchdowns. So, yeah, he's got return ability. I'm not going to say he's like the front runner for the return guy or like he's going to make a massive difference. Like it'd be cool if he broke one. You would never hear the end of it from me if he housed one. I would probably post it daily, but that's about it. That, overall, I would love to see Ali get more time. I don't see him being running back 2, even if they, have to sit Justice for a week or two. I think it would go to Keaton.
Yeah. I mean, I think Keaton deserves an opportunity. I just don't know where he is mentally with his injury. I mean, clearly he's cleared and he's ready to go, but how much does he trust himself and trust his body, right? That to me is the biggest question mark. So in my opinion, I feel like Keaton deserves more of an opportunity, but I think that in reality, what has happened here is I think that Justice has had a better season than they thought.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were always going to have Derek in there being the guy, obviously.
Especially this late in the season.
Right. But then it was always going to be, okay, well, Justice and Keaton can kind of split that third down back role and see how things go and kind of rotate those guys in with each other. But Justice has been so good in pass protection. He's been so good as a receiver out of the backfield. He's been so good as a rusher that I just feel like there's not enough opportunity for Keaton. And then it comes down to which one do you trust more on special teams? And I feel like the answer to that, obviously, as we've seen, is Rasheed Ali. So
yeah, I agree. Kevin, isn't it weird? We are 24 minutes and 30 seconds in, so 24 and a half minutes in. We haven't talked about Lamar Jackson.
Feels kind of good. I know.
And what's crazy is it's not like, it's because Lamar didn't have a great game or Lamar no-showed. I mean, 230 total yards, 3 touchdowns, obviously the 1 interception, but it was another good Lamar Jackson day.
Yeah, and again, nothing overly flashy, but sets a new career high in touchdown passes for a season. Obviously 37 and counting here for Lamar, but I thought he hit throws when he needed to. I know the interception, people will talk about it. Rashad Bateman stopped on that route, and there was a miscommunication there between he and Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, I thought he was making good decisions for the most part. And while there were some throws that I'm sure he'd like to have back, 200 plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns,
and a win.
And a win against a very, very good Steelers defense. And admittedly, look, they didn't have 3/4 of their starting secondary, right? That's real, and we will acknowledge it because that did have an impact on the game. I mean, Corey Trice was getting fried out there by whoever was being lined up against him. I thought James Pierre was decent, but Corey Trice.
Well, once Joey Porter officially, he tried to come back. Once he was out, I felt like the Ravens really felt like. I mean, obviously, I don't know how big of an impact it was. The Ravens were already kind of up, but towards the end, it really does. Also, Kevin, real fast, I didn't realize that Desmond King literally tweeted out, "Great win."
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you just said he said it. I thought you said he said it in the press conference.
Oh, no. Yeah, he said it on social media.
I like the hashtag, the ball is everything.
Yeah.
It's true.
So hopefully.
Kevin, let's have the conversation. Did this help? Because, people will. Did this help Lamar Jackson's MVP chance? Are you done with that discussion? What say you?
No, I mean, I think it did. I mean, the NFL clearly flexed Josh Allen against the Patriots to 425 because what a riveting matchup between the Bills and the Patriots. I mean, all on the line for the Patriots postseason hopes. No,
that was
the
craziest.
I know there was no need to flex it. They clearly want Josh Allen in a bigger spot, even against bad teams. So, I mean, it feels like they're making up something here to give the award to Josh. And look, if Josh wins it, he's had a heck of a season, right? I mean, both Lamar and Josh have. But Lamar goes in against a top defense, puts up nearly 40 points on them in a big spot, backed up into a corner of if you lose, your division chances are over. So, I mean, yeah. I think it does.
Yeah, this was a massive game. He got the monkey off his back with the Pittsburgh, all that crap. I just felt like a game where Lamar could finally – that's another thing just gone. Like, it was just one of those weird things. They had lost all these straight games to Pittsburgh. Lamar hadn't beaten Pittsburgh in so long. all the narratives. It just feels good to get that out of the way. It feels good. If the Ravens don't see the Steelers again, they definitely could get to the point where seeding and everything, maybe they see them in the playoffs. If you don't see the Steelers again, the season goes on, whatever, it would be pretty good feeling, over the offseason and stuff, to have that as your last win against Pittsburgh, just as a fan standpoint and kind of a team morale thing, especially after everything that's transpired.
Yeah. And look, with the way that things have gone, and I talked about this over at Locked On Ravens, I think the Ravens will win the North. They'll get the 3 seed. They'll play the Chargers in the first round. I think Pittsburgh gets the 5 and plays Houston and wins. I think Pittsburgh beats Houston. And that sets up Kansas City, Pittsburgh again, Buffalo, Baltimore. There is maybe a shot that Pittsburgh and Baltimore can go to the AFC Championship together and play
in Baltimore
for a chance at the Super Bowl, which would
be
crazy.
Not, Kevin. Why not? I'm glad that the Ravens would have to face the Bills.
I think they match up great with the Bills. I'm honestly not very worried about that game, and it's not a Josh Allen thing; it's a Bills defense thing.
Yeah, I think the Ravens have enough to not stop Josh Allen, because you're not, the way.
Well, we saw it. We literally saw it happen.
Yeah, but you can contain him. You can definitely contain him. They can make him, uncomfortable and that stuff. So yeah, I'm not. Could the Bills win? Without a doubt, they're a great team, but I'm not necessarily going into that game like we don't match up well. I'm going in feeling pretty good. Kevin, I know you talked about going into you feel like, they went out. You feel like they kind of are, I don't want to say they're in the driver's seat, because you do need Pittsburgh to lose one. But when you look at their schedule, it's 2 teams fighting and clawing. So you do feel good about it. But it really does feel like this team is kind of turning that corner at the right time. They're playing good ball defensively, good ball offensively, and man, is that kicking game coming. 51 yards, that was no easy kick. We talked about, obviously, the hold, the snap. Not an easy kick. Tucker puts it through. I'm telling you, that confidence is coming. That confidence is coming. What is it, like 9 straight kicks go through or something like that? It's getting close.
They need it. They need them. And the best thing about it is those feel like Justin Tucker kicks, end over end. He's playing the wind, and he's been on record saying that M&T is the toughest place to kick in the league because of all the adjustments they've made, the wind tunnels coming in. And we could see him like clearly aiming and hooking and getting him through the uprights. So look, I think that the Ravens in the playoffs, I don't expect them to blow out every team in the playoffs. There are going to be some tight games, going to be some close games. And in those close games, you need every point you can. And Justin Tucker, we've literally seen it this season. He's been the difference. His kicks that have been missed have been the difference between wins and losses. So, man, it's crazy. We're going to be doing this all again on just 4 days from now, Wednesday. But against the Houston team that's banged up, and I know we did prayers for Justice Hill, prayers to Tank Dell too. That was an ugly injury. And Houston is just free falling right now with their injuries, and CJ Stroud hitting the rookie wall or second-year wall. But you got to feel for Tank Dell, who had the injury last year, obviously the offseason situation, and now again this year. Just super talented player, unreal player. And I mean, it feels like to me Houston's just in a free fall.
Yeah. They're not a team I'm worried about. And I'm not talking about this game. They could very well. Christmas Day, short week, anything can happen. Anything can happen. I think they're a very talented team that can win. But long term, this season, kind of as a threat to winning it all, I just think they're running out of gas. Like you said, I think that whole team's kind of hitting that second-year expectations wall. Sort of kind of like, I'll say it, kind of like the Orioles this year. That second year, the first year, everyone's young, everyone's coming together. The futures look great. You're running the table. You look great. Everyone's like, the future is incredible. You lose first round, but you really don't care because you're like, the pieces are there. That next year's step is going to be good. And that's disappointing. So it just feels like everything's kind of hit a wall right now, and you're just waiting for that. I don't want to say you're waiting for that final thing to where you're like, they can't come back from that. They lost Nico Collins for part of the season, but it just feels like they're teetering on that team where it's like the momentum could maybe carry if they can grab some. Maybe they beat the Ravens, maybe. But overall, you're kind of looking at Texas as this kind of no man's land. You're not sure. Are we afraid of them? Because you look at the talent, and you're like, we should be. Then you look at what they've been doing, and you're like, it's not translating whatsoever.
No, their offensive line hasn't been good this season. They're dealing with injuries there. Again, CJ Stroud really hasn't been great this season compared to what he was last year. They've now lost 2 of their top 3 receivers. I wouldn't be shocked if Deontay goes there, for being honest. I think him going to Texans, Chargers, Steelers, Chiefs are my 4. I think the Ravens will face Deontay in the playoffs. I just have a weird feeling they're going to face Deontay Johnson in the playoffs.
He catches a touchdown. It's going to piss me off, but he catches a touchdown, just whether or not it means something, if you get what I mean.
I hear you. So we'll feel out that situation, I guess. But man, with this win, and if the Ravens win the North, they don't play the Texans in the playoffs again. I think whoever gets that 5 seed beats Houston. I don't care who it is: Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles. I think whatever team gets Houston beats Houston. But I feel like it's going to be the Horrible 2.0 in Baltimore, where you have the Chargers going across the country to play the Ravens with a earlier start time than they might be used to. So I'm telling you, man, I think this season, if they can get past Buffalo in the divisional, and again, this is all hypothetical. I'm not coming out here and saying, I know this is going to happen, and Ravens are winning. No, we're doing hypotheticals. But this is a team that has a lot of talent. Sure, they have not put it together at times, but I just feel like the Ravens have a shot. And I know it didn't feel that way when they went down 0-2 in the start of the season. I know it hasn't felt that way at other times, but they've always had a shot here, especially with how wide open the NFL is, like we talked about.
It's anyone's game. And I'll tell you one thing. I've said it once and I'll say it a million times. As long as Lamar Jackson is playing for the Baltimore Ravens, I like their chances every single time they lace them up. Every single time. I don't care if it's the playoffs. I don't care about playoff narratives. I don't care if it's a big game. I don't care if it's a small game. I'm going to feel good with the ball in Lamar Jackson's hands because, man, and can I just say something, Kevin? It felt so damn good to be on this side of a commentator just overly just hyping up a quarterback. Tom Brady is Lamar Jackson's biggest fan, and it makes me so happy.
Oh, it's incredible.
He is enamored with Lamar. And it starts from when they started playing each other in Lamar's first few years. He loves Lamar Jackson. And I'm so tired of when we listen to Chris Collinsworth and Tony Romo, everything that happens, they bring up, Josh Allen, I don't know, Jim. I think Josh Allen could do the no look better. Or, here's a guy, man, he just reminds you of Patrick Mahomes. I mean, every time he steps on the field, no player makes that besides Mahomes. It felt good to have our guy. Tom Brady's our guy. Okay, he loves Lamar, and he's not afraid to let everyone know it. The things he was saying was getting me fired up. Lamar was doing things, and Brady's jaw was on the floor, and it got me fired up, Kevin. I had to rant about that because I haven't felt that. I'm glad we finally got one.
Yeah, and it's awesome to have, an incredible player like Tom Brady on your side. Like,
not a bad endorsement.
Ooh. I mean, and that's what I said on Twitter. I got Bills fans all mad, apparently. I got told that. I don't really check my replies as much as I used to. But, I mean, you got Tom Brady in your corner. You got Aaron Rodgers in your corner. You got Michael Vick in your corner. You got Bill Belichick in your corner, Peyton Manning in your corner. And that's not me saying that those guys hate on Josh Allen or anything. I'm not saying that, but it's not that they just overwhelmingly drown out Lamar stuff with stuff from other players or criticisms of Lamar without praising. All right, it's that type of thing. So Josh Allen, he has his group of supporters. Lamar Jackson has his group of supporters, and then there are guys that overlap. And to me, it's about being fair in all of this. If Lamar didn't deserve the award, we would.
Brod's thing real quick.
Huh?
The thing about Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Like you were saying, Kevin, it's refreshing.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Lamar got a spotlight tonight, and that's what you'd love to see.
Yeah, and I'm just so tired of the discourse, dude. Like, I genuinely am. I'm so tired of Lamar not being able to do anything without Josh Allen being brought up. I'm so tired of Josh Allen not being able to do anything without Lamar getting brought up. Like, listen, I was playing Josh Allen in fantasy football last week. In the playoffs, I still won. But every tush push that went in, I was already upset about it. I don't then need my quarterback to be brought up in the discussion. I'm like, let's just all calm down right now. I'm like, let's not do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on the full. I enjoy watching both play football. I like watching good football be played. It's also both of them are chaotic. Let's just call it what it is. Both of them, it works out a lot of the times, but my God, I don't know if it should. Like there were throws today that Lamar Jackson was on. Zay dropped it. It was in his hands, but Kevin, Lamar Jackson is really loving that cross body. I'm going to throw it all the way across the field. And when that ball's in the air, Kevin, my heart just sinks. I'm like, please come down in the purple jersey's hands.
He's had a lot of those, but it feels like when he makes them, he knows that it's going to be okay. Like it's a weird, like reckless thing, but it feels like he understands that his guy can go. And that's a big trust thing, right? Like that's trusting your guys. So, man, I'll tell you, Lamar's a crazy dude, but you got to love him.
Yeah, man. And British Raven, I see you commenting. Absolute stud. Just absolute stud.
Craziness.
It's man, Kevin, this team's fun. I'm having fun watching this team.
Oh yeah.
I think they can do it. I do. I think that this could be the year. A lot of people talk about last year was the year. 2011 team was better than 2012's team. The team does talent up and down is not always what matters. It's not the deciding factor. There are teams all the time. That was a down Kansas City Chiefs team last year. That was not their best team in the Mahomes era. Don't let the Baltimore Ravens get hot. Damn right, Steve. Damn right, because I'm telling you right now, Lamar Jackson gets his swagger going. Lamar Jackson, give him the MVP. Don't give him the MVP. I don't care anymore. Lamar Jackson, I'm watching. We are watching. Look at the statistics. Look at the metrics. We are watching one of the greatest passing seasons of all time. Throw out his running. Throw out his running. You are witnessing one of the greatest passing performances ever displayed by a quarterback in a Flock Rundown. Appreciate you as always.
Man. Appreciate that.
Also making incredible content over there. Yeah. Ravens content creators help watching. I love it. I love this community. Everything's awesome when the Ravens win. Everyone's coming together. It just it feels great. It feels great. And then final thought on the Lamar thing about giving the MVP. Don't, but what we're watching, this is unheard of. Everyone wants to talk about Lamar Jackson is, whatever the comparisons are. He can't throw. He can't do this. Lamar Jackson is it is official. Lamar Jackson's if you gave Aaron Rodgers a 4.2 speed. It's just what it is. Look at all of Rodgers' throwing records. Look at all of his stuff. Lamar Jackson, the way he's commanding an offense, the way he's throwing the ball, it's only comparable to some of Rodgers' prime. And I know people talk about Brady, stuff like that. Aaron Rodgers is probably the most talented thrower we've ever seen, I believe. Obviously a weirdo now. But in his prime, Aaron Rodgers, look at, he's the one with the best passer rating all time, stuff like that. In a season, it is like you gave prime Aaron Rodgers 4.2 speed. So do not take this for granted. Do not underappreciate this, because I'm telling you right now, I don't care how many, it's an influx of, this, that, and the other. It's all these mobile quarterbacks now, and this is where the league. I do not think we're going to see a new Lamar Jackson ever.
I
And it's
mean,
weirdo how the dude has run the Jets into the ground. He's off doing all those like off season, putting his feet on the table for the press. Remember when he was showing his toes on the press conference?
oh, yeah, man. I haven't even watched the documentary. I mean, I
haven't either. I got to.
I mean, it's been a rough year for the Jets, man. It just absolutely brutal. And it's the whole conversation about like, is Aaron Rodgers running the Jets or not? Like that's the weird situation to me. Is like,
now we're like,
what decisions is Aaron Rodgers making for the Jets? Because apparently it's not Woody Johnson doing it. So who is actually doing it? Yeah, is it Aaron Rodgers? Like, we don't know.
Or is it Woody Johnson's son playing Madden? You never know.
Hey, these are the storylines the NFL needs. Like these are the storylines that bring the money in. So,
yeah, keep putting up British Ravens thing real fast.
Zach will let rock. Did something happen this morning?
No, he was just on. So we gave him. Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Like this terrible towel is like sacred and all that stuff.
Yeah, I saw he brought it in. Like, he's now like
very open about.
He's now embraced it.
Yeah, now that he's no longer in television, he can. So
because I didn't realize he was open about it. I thought,
yeah,
okay, yeah, man. I mean, I guess now we can talk about it. We obviously kept it a secret for a while, but now he's open about it. So I guess it's
good for him. Good for him. But he was talking about disrespecting, and he grabbed the terrible towel. We're like, we're not going to disrespect it because we know the bad juju. And he started rubbing it on me to try. I said, I started celebrating. I was like, you messed up. I was like, you can't use the terrible towel against us either. I was like, so I told him that he just gave all of Chris Boswell's power back to Justin Tucker because I was in the Tucker jersey. What's Tucker do? Out there hitting 51-yard bombs. What's Boswell doing? Kicking kickoffs out of bounds. You never know.
Yeah, man, they needed this win. I mean, it's just we don't have to talk about, 8 of the last 9, right? Like all that's out now. I think he just focused. He can get down to business and hopefully pull out another big win on Wednesday.
Hopefully. Any last thoughts, Kevin?
I don't think so. Good win. So at the end of the day, Baltimore has a lot in control now, right? You can go and you can beat Houston. You can go and you can beat the Browns. And if the Steelers lose one of their 2, hey, now you're in the division driver's seat. So
exactly. Just win and see what happens. Just win and see what happens. Baltimore Ravens with a dominant win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Feels damn good.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin. Now in a sort of kind of tie in first place. Steelers still have the tiebreaker, but the Orioles, if the Ravens win out, they do feel like they're in control. Last thoughts, Kevin, before you're gonna have to end it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it. So this has been Kevin. Yeah, look, I'm gonna put myself. Yeah, there we go. This has been Kevin and Zach React. I'm taking control back. You can obviously like and subscribe here on the way out because we do go live after every single Ravens and Orioles game. And hopefully, as the Orioles make some more moves, or even if Orioles free agents leave, we'll be going live for that as well. So we got football, we got baseball over here as well. So be sure to stay tuned. We'll be back. Well, I guess I don't know if you'll be back, Zach, but I know I'll do a stream on Christmas.
Post game Christmas, yeah. Especially we get a post game dub, post Christmas day dub. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
All right, hell yeah! So we'll be back here on Christmas talking about a Ravens team that hopefully picks up win against the Texans. But for now, we'll just have to live with a win against the Steelers, which I'm more than happy doing. So for Zach Bollinger, I'm Kevin Ostreicher. We'll see you back right here next time on Kevin and Zach React. Bam, bam.